Okay, so let's do this. Welcome, my name is Eric, and today is going to be a very nice video. At least I think so. I'm very excited for this one. It's going to be a list of my favorite games for the PlayStation 1. This old gray device here, yes, it has seen many gaming hours back in the day. I don't think my parents were always so happy with this, but hey, I was happy with it. So let's get on to it and let's see what is on the list. I hope you're excited. Let's do this. So this is going to be a list of my favorite games on the PlayStation 1, so it's not based on any review scores. It's more about games that I enjoyed the most or have a good story about. So yeah, it's a very personal list, and the order of games has also nothing to do. It's just a random order of games, not a real top 10 from 1 till 10. So let's go to the first game. Okay, so the first game that I have here in my hand is it's Medieval. So yeah, this game. Um, First of all, I think one of the strongest parts of the game is the charm of the game, the atmosphere that it has. It has this sort of medieval Halloween kind of atmosphere, and they nail it perfectly. Absolutely. It's the graphic style that they use. It's kind of like Nightmare Before Christmas, you know, that movie from Tim Burton, or Corpse Bride. If you don't know those movies, go check them out because they're absolutely fantastic. Yeah, this game, that's what I first wanted to say. The atmosphere, the charm of it, and they just do this so well with the graphics, the music, um, but also the characters that you find in the game, the character itself that you play with, which is Sir Daniel Fortescue. He is an accidental hero and gets, how do you say, he gets brought back to life to defeat once again the evil sorcerer, but this time he's just a skeleton in an armor. And there's a lot of humor in this game. I would say sort of British type of humor, just so it's kind of silly. Yeah, just such a memorable game for me. So yeah, also the gameplay I think is quite good. I mean, I would say it's not top level gameplay, but the overall package makes it a great game. Yeah, so therefore this game is on my list. And when I talk about PlayStation 1 games or think about PlayStation 1 games, Medieval always comes up as one of those. Okay, so the next game, it's a very solid game. It's called Metal Gear Solid. Here it is. Yeah, stupid joke, I know, but hey. So this game, I mean, yeah, it's already considered one of the best games on the PlayStation 1, and for me, I just gotta agree with this as well. I mean, this game is just amazing. It's a tactical espionage game. It's the first one in the Metal Gear Solid series, and it cemented itself immediately as, you know, a pinnacle in gaming, and that's why the series continued. And basically, all of the games that came after are masterpieces as well. Especially, I think the third one is one that I have in my top list as one of my favorite games of all time. So yeah, but Metal Gear Solid 1, this game, first of all, we had never seen anything like this before when it comes to cinematic experience in gaming. The way they did this was, yeah, it is something new. The story was epic. The cutscenes that they added to the game were on another level. The characters were super interesting. The boss fights were also super memorable. I mean, the whole experience of this game, yeah, what can I say? It's a special game, and also I think the way they presented it, the graphics are very good. I recently started playing it again, and I'm still impressed with what they did still impressed with what they did with the power of the PlayStation 1, which comparable to nowadays is nothing, of course. But for those days, yeah, they managed to really do something special with this game. Yeah, the music also I think is fantastic. Great soundtrack on this game. Um, yeah, and the gameplay. Um, Even though with other games, even in modern day games, sneaking, being silent, sneaking around is not even done so well. But Metal Gear Solid always does this perfectly. Of course, the game is based on this, but still, in my opinion, apart from Splinter Cell, it's the best game for this kind of gameplay. And yeah, I wish there were more games that did this so well. Maybe Hitman is another one that does this quite well in a different way. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid, I would say that's where it started. There were older Metal Gear Solid or older Metal Gear games, but Metal Gear Solid is where it really started off for the series. So yeah, this game just it had to be on the list for me, just simply because it's a legendary game, and my experience is nothing else from any of the other reviews. So it just had to be there. Oh yeah, to the next one on the list. It is Vigilante 8. Wow, this game, yeah. I would say the best fun I had multiplayer wise on the PlayStation 1 is probably Vigilante 8. This vehicle combat game where you just have to fight, with vehicles on a map, shoot each other, and whoever is last man standing wins. It's a simple concept, and there's also the campaign where you basically do the same thing. It's just these battles with the cars, and yeah, simple but so much fun. So yeah, I didn't know much about this game honestly before I bought it. There was just some colleague at work at the time. I had a summer job, and he told me about the game, how cool it was, and I just trusted him in this. He had a very convincing story for me, and I just had to check it out, and I was not disappointed. I was not disappointed at all, and especially the multiplayer. When you put in a second controller and do split screen multiplayer, you add a few bots, you'll just have a lot of fun, a lot of mayhem. Every character that you have in the game that you can pick has a special weapon that is very unique. It's very unique, and that creates a lot of fun as well. There's, for instance, a guy that has a beehive on the back of his van, and yeah, when you activate it, a swarm of bees will chase his enemies, or a guy with a big what do you call it, a subwoofer speaker system in the back of his car. Once he activates that, it will just blast out this big wave of sound, doing damage to anybody in his near vicinity. And so yeah, there's several of these special weapons that add to the fun of this game. But even the basic weapons are very diverse and work really well. So yeah, just this combination of very diverse vehicles with very diverse special weapons, the maps that actually also have some purpose in being part of the combat. I mean, yeah, this game is just pure fun, nothing more than that, pure fun. And on top, the soundtrack is actually pretty good, and even one song that really stood out for me, I will try to link it in the video so you can check that song out, because it's pretty epic. It's called Loki. So yeah, Vigilante 8, pure fun, multiplayer mayhem, and I had a great time, especially playing with my younger brothers, doing this in split screen. Wow, what an experience. So for me, it had to be on the list as well. Okay, let's move on. Okay, this game, I mean, one of the greatest games of all time, according to many. It's Final Fantasy VII. Actually, I mean, now I think it's one of the best games on the PlayStation 1 and one of my favorite games ever, but it didn't start off that way for me. Absolutely not. I was super excited for this game. I saw many great reviews. The magazines were full of articles. There were trailers on the TV, and I just had to get the game. So I went to the store. I said, give me that game now. I gave them my money. I went home. I started playing it. And I started playing a little bit more. And maybe even a little bit more. But it didn't click for me. I just didn't understand the game at all. I never played JRPGs before, or Japanese RPGs. So the whole concept was new for me. And yeah, my brain just didn't compute with this kind of game. It was too slow for me. There was too much reading going on. The battles were annoying to me. It just didn't. Yeah, I just didn't enjoy it. So I thought, you know what? I still have time. The receipt says so. So I will go back to the store. I will ask them if I can either get a refund or trade the game in for another game. They said you cannot get your money back. Those are the rules, but you can trade it in for the different game. And I was like, cool. I will get Tomb Raider 2 instead. But they didn't have Tomb Raider 2 for some reason. The only store in the whole city that didn't have Tomb Raider 2. So, okay. There I was thinking, what other game can I get? Looking around, I couldn't find any other game that I was really interested in. So, I thought to myself, you know, this game gets so many great reviews. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. So, I decided to go back home and try it again. And this time I actually played a lot more. Got to a certain point in the game. And for some stupid reason, I got stuck. I saved at some point, and I was up against a boss that I couldn't defeat because he just one-shotted me every time, and I couldn't go back because I had blocked myself in this part of the map or level where there was no returning. So I couldn't go back to level up, so I was stuck. And why? Because I rushed. I rushed the game. I just wanted to go through it as quick as possible. And with those type of games, you should never do that because you need to level up. And if you don't do this, yeah, you're going to be under-leveled. And especially some dumbass like me, who then puts himself in a position where you can't even go back to level up. Yeah, you're done for. So I had to restart again. But I didn't feel like it. So I was kind of disappointed once more. And yeah, I left the game alone for a while. But it started tickling it again with me. I thought, you know, I want to give this game another chance. And that's when it really started. That's when it clicked with me. I started to playing the game differently. I started playing it slowly. Started understanding also more about the story. Just read everything. Listen to all the characters that you find. Listen to their conversations. Yeah. And it made the game a lot more enjoyable. And since you are leveling up the way you should be doing, the fights were easier. The boss fights were a lot easier. And I was able to progress a lot easier, obviously. So yeah. And once I played the whole game, I was like, wow, this is one of the best games I've ever played. I think mostly because of the story and the characters. There's something that happens in the story that definitely stays with you a long time. So yeah, I'm happy that I actually never traded the game in and stuck with it. Gave it 2 more tries, and in the end, it became one of my favorite games of all time. So sometimes, even if a game doesn't seem to work for you, maybe you just gotta give it another try, and you might like it. It could even end up being one of your favorite games of all time, just like me. So yeah, Final Fantasy VII on the list as well. So let's move on to the next game. Okay, so the next game is totally bananas. It is Ape Escape. Ape Escape. A game where basically you have to catch monkeys. The monkeys got a device on their head. They escaped, and you get the task from the professor in the game to catch all the monkeys. Yeah, the way they did this with the gameplay on how you can catch the monkeys, the way the controls work with the analog controller. In this case, you really need to use an analog controller for this game, otherwise it doesn't work. But yeah, it works perfectly well. Also, the gadgets that they added to the game that help you in catching the monkeys, the level design, the graphics are fantastic. I still think it looks absolutely great for a game on the PlayStation 1. The music was good. It's such a memorable game, and I also understand why they added it to Astrobot as one of the main levels, because it deserves it. When you look at the history of PlayStation, Ape Escape actually deserves even more love, and I hope they will still make more games for this in the future, because we haven't had much. We haven't had that many Ape Escape games, in my opinion. So please, Sony, make a new Ape Escape, even do a remake of this first game, which I think is a perfect game. Yeah, so what can I say in the end about this game? Just pure fun catching monkeys, absolutely. And that's for me. I wish that more games were just like this, just pure fun. Yeah, that's it basically with this game. It's just pure fun. They perfected it with the first one already, and yeah, therefore it's worthy of being on the list of my favorite PlayStation 1 games. So Ape Escape, well done. You really gave me a good time, and now it's time to move to the next game. Okay, so for this one, I'm gonna cheat a little bit. Hey, it's my video, so it's my rules. And for this one, I could not make a choice which one of those two games of this series I liked the most, so I will put them together. Also, they are kind of connected in a way. The story continues from one to another. So yeah, for me, I will put those two together. It's Broken Sword 1 and Broken Sword 2. Yeah, I absolutely love those games. They have always been part of my favorite games on the PlayStation 1. It started with actually the second game. Before I actually started playing the first game, I never really knew anything about Broken Sword. I had seen it because I also had a demo with a video, like a trailer for the first game, but I had no clue what this game honestly was about. So how I got into the game, the second one, is because of a demo disc that came with a magazine. Back in those days, you had games magazines with demo discs inside. And yeah, I got the demo for this game. I started playing it, and it really got me hooked straight from the get-go. I didn't get so far into the game. I didn't have much time. And the next morning at school, I met my friend, and he actually had played also the same demo for this game. And we started discussing, and we figured out that we basically got to the same point. And from there on, it became a little bit of a competition between both of us who would finish the demo first. I don't think anybody of us really won. We probably finished it around the same time. But what we did achieve was our love for this game. And we both bought the game for this reason. I didn't buy it where I was living because I couldn't find it anywhere in the stores. It was actually when we were on a trip in London where we found it in a game store somewhere. And I was really happy to find it. Absolutely, because I couldn't wait to play it. And that's how I completely fell in love with the game. After playing the first one, I had to get after playing the second game first, I had to get the first one as well. But as I said before, the second game was already hard to find for me. The first game was even harder. Couldn't find it anywhere. Not even secondhand or anything like this. But luckily, I just stumbled into an electronic store, and they had a small section where they still were selling some old PlayStation 1 games, probably from the early days. And there was Broken Sword 1. So I was like, okay, I gotta get this now. There's no way that I can let this chance slip my fingers. So I got the game as well, played it. It doesn't run as well as the second game. I think there are some issues with this game. Both games have a great story to it. The characters are very interesting. The conversations that you have with all the people that you meet in the game, the puzzles that you have to solve, the art style, which is all hand-drawn art, is fantastic. Looks absolutely amazing. And now there is even the remake of the first game, or a remaster, where they actually have hand-drawn all the art style once again, but for higher resolution. I played this game, and wow, still same experience as with the original. And I'm happy that also there's going to be a remaster of the second game. Can't wait to play this. So yeah, both Broken Sword 1 and 2, part of my favorite PlayStation 1 games. So let's move to the next one. What will it be? Let's have a look. Okay, so next game. It's the second game out of a trilogy for the PlayStation 1. It is Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back. Out of those three games, yeah, the second one is my favorite one. I think just overall the gameplay is the most fun. The third one does a lot, adds more to it, but I just think that the second game just keeps the balance well. I love all the levels that I played on this game. Yeah, Crash Bandicoot 2. my favorite one of the 3 games. The first game I already enjoyed a lot. I think the gameplay was already great. The levels, the music, the characters, the great art design. So yeah, the second game just did everything better than the first game. You know, the graphics were better, the controls were better, even being able to use analog controls, which makes a big difference. I think overall more great levels. Also the annoying save system that they had in the first game, that was removed, and it had this great sort of game hub from where you could choose the levels and it would save after every level. That makes it so much better experience. Yeah, they just added so many small things to the game to improve it and made it, for me, this perfect Crash Bandicoot experience. And even the third game is a very good game as well. For some reason, the second one just for me was an overall more fun experience. Yeah, I don't have much more to say honestly about Crash Bandicoot. It's one of those games that I played. I had a lot of fun with it. And no story in this case, you know, just a good game. And Crash Bandicoot 2 is the one that I picked for this one. So yeah, okay, so let's move on to the next game. Okay, so for the next game, I'm quite excited because this is one of my favorite games of all time. Even played recently the remaster of this one, and still it was the same experience for me. It's Tomb Raider 1. What a game this is. Yeah, this was my introduction to the PlayStation 1. So yeah, my friend at school, he had a PlayStation 1 and I was thinking of buying a PlayStation 1 myself. Wasn't sure about it. I also thought maybe I want a Nintendo 64, but I need to be sure. So I asked him, can you show me this system? Can you show me some games for it? And he agreed. So we went to his place. He showed me a few games, and one of those games was Tomb Raider 1. And it absolutely sold me. That game just blew me away. I had never seen something like this before. The graphics, the gameplay, the music, the way you just controlled Lara Croft in the game. I was like, wow, I need to play this game. And even I had seen some of the game in a magazine before. I didn't understand anything until I saw it being played on the system. Yeah, so Tomb Raider just sold me for the PlayStation 1, and I got the system that summer, several months later in the summer after my holiday. I had saved up enough money to buy the system, and yeah, then I played the Tomb Raider 1. I played the game, and I absolutely loved it straight from the start until the finish. What is so great about this game? First of all, I think one important aspect about this game is just the atmosphere that they create in this game. The way you feel like you're the first person that has entered an area or an old tomb, a temple, for the first time in a very long time. For centuries, nobody's been there, and you are the first person to enter this place. The way they managed to execute this is something that I've never seen in any other game ever since. And yeah, that's why it still is something that I think is something special about this game. How did they do this? I think it's first of all with the music that is not really there as much, just at moments, just to create atmosphere. But in general, it's just the sound of your footsteps, or maybe you climbing, or sometimes there's an enemy. But also the enemies in general are animals, bats, wolves, lions, gorillas, but human enemies, no, there's only a couple. And that makes it also feel like, yeah, you're the first human that enters this place, because in all the other Tomb Raiders after that, there's loads of human enemies. And so you're not the only one there, you're not the first one. Also, the level design, I think, is still one of the greatest levels that I've ever played in any other game. There are some absolutely legendary levels in this. Yeah, the gameplay at that time was also something very new. Tomb Raider 1, along with Mario 64, is, I would say, it was the pioneer in 3D gaming, in how you would move around more like freely through 3D environments. Yeah, and Tomb Raider 1 still, I think, holds up very well. The tank controls maybe are not for everybody. I still like them, but I grew up with those. Tomb Raider 1, I would put this even in my list of favorite games of all time. It's something special. And there is going to be a remake of this game coming out next year. I'm very curious what they will do with this. It looks very good, and I hope that they can create the same type of atmosphere as well. If they can do that, wow, it's going to be a perfect game. So, okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so we are actually at the 9th game on the list, and as by pure coincidence, we have Final Fantasy 9, another game from the Final Fantasy series. I mean, Final Fantasy games in general, most of them are very good. After playing the 7 game, I played Final Fantasy 8, which I think is a great game too. But Final Fantasy 9 is a fantastic game. This game just oozes charm. I love the graphics on this game. The art style that they chose, probably my favorite art style in any Final Fantasy. This medieval and bit cartoony look that it has. The character designs, also a great story. Maybe not as good as Final Fantasy 7, but it still holds up pretty well. It's a very interesting story. The combat is very well done. I really enjoyed it. It's a very smooth game to play. I think the controls are very well executed. And then again, I didn't even mention this with Final Fantasy 7, but the orchestrator, the creator of the music for both those games and 8 and some other games is Nobuo Uematsu, and he's a legend. And yeah, the soundtrack for this game and the other Final Fantasy games are absolutely fantastic. Final Fantasy 7 probably is my favorite of those, but 9 is also absolutely top. So yes, the soundtrack, another great element of this game, and it's just overall, I think, could be even sometimes be my favorite Final Fantasy game above 7, but I don't know. Maybe that's just pushing it a little bit, but yeah, that's just shows you how much I love this game. Okay, so Final Fantasy 9 deserves to be on the list for me. So let's see, what is the final game that I've put on the list? Ooh. Okay, so last but not least, it's Resident Evil 2. Yeah, Resident Evil, first of all, is one of my favorite game series in gaming. And Resident Evil 2 has to be my favorite of the whole bunch, along with Resident Evil 2 Remake. After playing the first game, playing Resident Evil 2, it just did everything better. Better graphics, the controls were refined, the voice acting was better. Well, that's not so hard to do actually when you see the first game. Music is great. The story, I think, is a bit more interesting. Also, the characters are, in my opinion, more interesting, especially with the side characters that you will meet along the way. And the introduction of Mr. X, who will pop up once in a while to make things hard for you. Yeah, overall, it's just such a great experience, Resident Evil 2. And you play with, just like with the first game, you will have 2 protagonists. So you will play with Leon S. Kennedy and Claire Redfield. And I really enjoyed playing both scenarios, which have, a bit of a different story. And even if you play it vice versa as well, so you start first with Leon and then Claire, or you start with Claire and then Leon, there are these little differences. And I also think the replayability is pretty good. I probably will say that this is the Resident Evil that I played the most, put the most hours into it. Even went as far as to trying to unlock the Hunk character in the game, and didn't meet the requirements also to unlock Tofu. That was just a bit too much for me. Yeah, this game, still up until now, my favorite Resident Evil game. I always hope that they will actually change this, because hey, if there's going to be a Resident Evil that's going to be even better than this one, please, I would love that. So yes, this game had to be on the list. There's no doubt with this game at all. So yes, Resident Evil 2, one of the first picks for me to put on the PlayStation favorites list. Even playing this game recently, just a bit, I was actually surprised how well it still plays and how much fun it is. it's not just memories. It's actually still a game that stands up really well. Even the controls, you can say they're outdated, but I just think, it's because of the limitations of the system they had to do with the fixed camera angles, using those 2D backgrounds that give you a 3D feel because of the way you move your character around. But it doesn't matter. Even if you play it now with those old school controls, the game is just so good that it doesn't matter. It's a good game, and a good game holds up even now like that. And Resident Evil 2 does that for me, honestly. I think the graphics, even though they're PlayStation 1 graphics, they look great. This game absolutely, without a doubt, deserves to be on my list of favorite PlayStation 1 games. And that's it. That's it. We reached the end of it. All right, so we already are at the end then, I guess. Well, I gotta say, I really enjoyed making this video. I love the PlayStation 1. It's one of my favorite systems, and making a video sharing my favorite games for this system was an absolute joy. And I hope you liked it. If you do, please leave a like, share, and also, even more importantly, please let me know, what are your favorite PlayStation 1 games? What is on your list? So please share in the comments, and I would love to see them. Okay, so I guess this is it then. It's the end of the video. Let's move on. See you in the next one. Bye.